Welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Roy Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us David Murray, who is the Executive Director of As You Wish Advanced Care Planning. That's a mouthful.
It is, Roy.
What is As You Wish Advanced Care Planning?
Well, As You Wish is a program of the Advanced Care Planning Coalition of Eastern Virginia, which is more than a mouthful. The coalition is a unique partnership between the four health systems that serve Eastern Virginia: Bon Secours Hampton Roads, Chesapeake Regional Healthcare, Centera, and Riverside. Mm-hmm. We cover 16 counties and 10 cities, and their community partners are the area agencies on aging. So that's Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia here. On the south side, the Peninsula Agency on Aging, Bay Aging, and Eastern Shore Area Agency on Aging, who serve that same footprint of all the hospitals served by those systems. The group is designed to help explain out in the public the importance of advanced care planning and what an advanced directive is, because it's extremely important that every individual adult 18 and older should have.
Well, why don't we just start with that? What is the advanced care planning you're talking about? What is a directive?
The directive itself is a document that outlines your wishes for your care that you would receive if you were uncommunicative due to a serious injury or illness. When we can see our doctors and we engage with our doctors and our care is delivered according to that conversation, that's great. But often, certainly at end of life, people cannot communicate, and the question is, what care and treatments would you want if you're not capable of communicating? And that's what the directive outlines. That's what the health systems want to see, so that they can honor your wishes, and that's why we call the program As You Wish, because it's very personal. Okay,
so really there's probably no two alike.
Absolutely. They're all like thumbprints.
Okay, all right. And so you see this as a benefit to the surviving person in the family. They don't have to make that decision, or they don't have to make those type of tough decisions or be faced with, and they have more guidance as to what the person actually wanted.
It's correct. It's really a three-way gift. First, it's a gift to yourself to keep your dignity intact. And as a faith leader once said at a meeting I attended, it's a gift you give your family to keep your family intact, because they have those instructions. And it's a gift to the health team, because your instructions are there and that they can begin and provide the care that you want, rather than the care that others are guessing at when you don't have a directive in place.
I see. Okay. And so the directive, well, I guess you just kind of answered this question, which was, who is it for? So it's really for everybody. It helps everybody.
Any adult 18 years of age and older can have an advanced directive.
And should.
They can change it any time they like if their values and their preferences change. It costs nothing to create an advanced directive, which is unique.
So you keep stepping on my next question. But that was my next question, was you don't have to go to an attorney and have this done and everything, right?
That's correct. In an attorney's office, it will come in the form of a living will with a medical power of attorney. And the cost associated with having it done there. But it's not necessary to have an attorney to create an advanced directive. In fact, we use the Virginia Advanced Directive for Healthcare that was written by the Virginia Bar Association and is readily available. Right. But that living will doesn't often address what am I wishing for in this living will.
Right.
The medical power of attorney may or may not, depending on, again, everything's different, what the attorney might share with you as far as what are the powers of the agent. And if you've written a living will a long time ago, perhaps those powers have changed, and you can change those powers too as an individual, or modify them, which is not often known. Many cases in the attorney's offices, you get your will and your living will done, and you're done with it. Mm-hmm. But it can be changed anytime you like.
Okay, and one of the things that I know your organization does, because I had questions when you were talking with me, and one of the things you do is educate people and answer their questions as to what does this mean, or what, how do I do this, or how do I go about this, or whatever, and you help them through the process, right?
That's the uniqueness of the coalition and the program, is that education and guidance is provided. In many cases, it's discussed in the health systems, do you have an advanced directive? Perhaps someone receives information on it, but they're left to their own devices. Our organization, through the health systems, provides guidance explaining what the directive is, going over the directive item by item. If someone says, I want to be clear on this if I'm filling this out, and that's what makes us unique.
So when you go to the hospital now, I know for the last several years at least, when you go to a hospital, they ask if you have an advanced directive. Okay, and they're all working in connection with your organization, right?
Correct.
Okay, and but that's what they're talking about when they ask you that.
Right.
And so they can get this information from you. Just contact you, right?
Correct.
To get it. Okay.
And the reason they're asking that question too is if it's needed, but nationally and locally, less than 3 out of 10 adults have an advanced directive. And the goal of the coalition through educating in the community is to have more people have their own directive, protect themselves, but we want to increase the percentage of people who, at admission to hospitals, when asked if you have an advanced directive, answer, yes, we do. And more importantly, we want to make sure that they put their advanced directive in their electronic health record, which is where it's most needed.
Mm-hmm. Well, when they ask me, I always say, why, do you know something I don't know? Okay, so how are you promoting this? Because it sounds like a worthy cause, and it's something free, and it's something everybody should do. I mean, everybody's going to eventually die, so it's something that they could use to help their family, help the physicians, help themselves. So how are you promoting this besides going on fantastic programs like this one?
We promote this through many of our health and human service providers who, again, touch this briefly but don't explain it. Let them know that we're here to help their clients or their patients if they want to have this conversation out in the community and in their comfort zone. We do have our website to help out. We do have a Facebook site now. But pretty much word of mouth and promotions through the area agencies on aging as our partners, because they work with many clients. And hopefully this is a document that they would also put together for their clients.
It sounds like this might be something good for like civic groups or business groups or whatever.
Our educational programs will run anywhere from a 2-hour program where we will go over the entire directive to a 15-minute program for any civic group who wants just a snapshot of what this is and why it's important. We hit them with the statistics, I think, that drive that point home in a 15-minute presentation.
How about support groups?
Support groups, we have spoken with support groups about this, certainly for anyone who's in a chronic care support group.
I think that would be a good
should
one.
know, and moreover, the family members. We invite them to come in too. If it's not just if it's just the chronic disease groups, it's the family members should come in too, because they need to know. If they're 18 or older, they need to know.
Well, you know, it's a lot more flexible in what it actually is than I thought. And after speaking with you, you know, because you know I had a certain idea what it was, and so. You know, that's why I never pursued it more than the power of attorney I have. But once talking to you, then I understood that, well, you have all the control of that, you know, and so there's a lot more there than I thought. So
that's
I
why
bet
we
a lot
call
of people,
it as you wish.
Yeah,
it is as you wish. Just document it.
I bet a lot of people have a misunderstanding of it, and
They do.
So it would be. That's why I was asking about the different speaking programs that you do.
Most of our programs end with people saying, "Wow, I had no idea. Thank you very much."
And so what you're basically offering people when they contact you? What do you just run down the list? What are you offering?
Well, we have guidance through our guidebook, which was created by the information that the 4 health systems and the Virginia Bar Association has available. It includes the advanced directive. We will provide that to anyone who wants it, and then we ask them to highlight every part of that they have a question about.
Right.
And then we will either provide guidance to them by phone, or we will go out into the community, meet them either at their home or a neutral site close to their home, and spend the time with them so that they are clear on the documents and their wishes. And it can take a week or more, or for those who know it and procrastinate, they can take 3 months for us to fill it out. But the bottom line is that they fill it out, that they're comfortable with it, and that they're protected.
Okay. All right. And my last question here was, can the coalition grow with additional partners?
Yes, the anyone in health and human services or planning services ought to know about this. We'd love for them to have our materials and share that. It's a very difficult subject. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have competitive information on a difficult subject, and that's why the competing health systems got together and said, let's do this through one brand and one message and one directive and guidance for everyone who needs
Smart.
it. So that way we can address what this is, which is a culture change initiative, in a way that is going to be easier for the community to grasp if we do it in a unified manner rather than in a scattered approach.
Well, is there anything else that I haven't touched on that you want to mention?
No, I think we pretty much got it.
Okay, well, I did a good job then.
Thank you, Rory.
Okay. Well, if you, well, I know you could use this if you don't have one. It's something to consider. It's free, and it's something every person needs, every family needs. And this is why they ask you whenever you go into a medical facility, they ask you if you have one, because this is something that's kind of like a no-brainer to have. And you should at least consider it. If you'd like to, the contact information for As You Wish is at the bottom of this page. It's also at the end of this video, and it's a worthwhile cause. They're doing a lot of good work in getting these out there, but there's a lot of people that don't have an advanced directive, and it could be really helpful. And if you have any questions about it at all, David is it's a real pleasure to speak with him, and he explains it in simple language. It's not attorney speak, and once you understand what your options are, I think, like me, you would be surprised that maybe it's not what you think. It's not certainly as locked down and controlling as I thought it was. So I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you,
I wish
Rory.
your organization a great deal of success, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.